Hey, Cacophonous Disco here. Just want to talk a bit about a game I made last year. For the Low Res Jam 2017 game called Interstate 64. In game, it's called I-64. As the objective of the Low Res Jam was to make a game that that was only in 64 pixel by 64 pixel, and like everything else was pretty open. It was my first game jam. Yeah, it happened. But I just want to talk a bit about, like, excuse me, getting over a flu. Like, a bit about, like, the systems, maybe go into a bit of the coding. Just help get my mind back into game design and development, as I haven't really done it since I finished this, which was back in August, so I'm a little rusty. Alright. So let's just play the game for a few seconds. There's no in-game tutorial or anything. In the instructions or on the games page, you'd be able to see that you'd have to up arrow to begin, left and right to move the car, R to reset, and F4 to exit. So I begin the game with a really nice pan from that ISO view, or ISO-like view, to a more normal view behind the vehicle. Game's very quiet, so, and it lasts about 15 minutes as the descriptor page, whatever it says. It was heavily inspired off of the Desert Bus game. So probably should turn off my Discord notifications so they're not showing up. But let's do that real quick. But yeah. Just the car slightly veers into the other lane and you have to scooch it over a little bit. Every now and then a lamppost shows up on the left or right, and another vehicle, the enemy sports car enemy, can show up. That is also, it's delegated actually via the animation system. See, here it comes. So what's going on with that little animation is that when the car is still, it sits there in this spot and just will constantly sit there. While a randomized, I believe it's not integer, it's a double, I think. Something, I'll look at the code here in a second. And it will just it constantly randomizes and it will begin the animation. Sometimes it does it more often than others, sometimes it doesn't. There's a particular, I think it's under 20, something like that, is when it begins the animation. Alright, and let's zoom in on the player's vehicle here. So, oopsie. So, what we got here is the sound for the car, the player vehicle, is right above the car, and these two sound sources are actually where the crash detectors are. So if the player hits here or here, it'll end the game, and it'll play a sound, of course. Excuse me. All right. Now, how am I spawning? The thing I'm most proud of, and it's kind of silly, is the street light system. So let's go zoom in on it over here. So it's just a simple street light with a single light that here, the light's here, and I have it set up so it actually creates the little whatever they call it. It has a hard shadow and all that jazz. And its little flare actually glows up top where the light is being emitted. Halo is what they call it. Oh wow, excuse me. Now, so what's attached to it is this long cube. Now let's follow the cube. So what happens is that the road, the player, and the moving ground all move through space, whereas the lampposts do not. So, as the player moves through this cube is what's called a trigger zone. So when it enters, it goes, oh hey, something's inside of the trigger zone. Okay. And then when it exits, it goes, oh, they left. We move up so many units. Let's see, let's take a look. Mover. Alright. Yeah, see, if it just enters, it doesn't, and the trigger entered, it does nothing, it just prints something to the console here, just to let me know that, hey, the trigger worked. And then when it exits the trigger, it figures out if it's on which side of the road it's on. Depending on which side, it moves up so many, it moves it via position and then rotates it depending on which side, so it flips. In that way, there's actually only ever one lamppost spawned in game, and it's the same lamppost just moving up every single time. I just feel like that's a kind of neat. I don't know if it's actually neat at all. It might just be simple resource saving by having just the same thing be used over and over again. You don't have to worry about it having to despawn, destroy, and all that jazz. I just like that. It's just being used over and over again. I think it works pretty well. In the earliest builds of this game, there was supposed to be at least 3 of them on screen at all times to give it like a kind of like a synthwave-esque vibe, but with the more minimal amount of lamps on it, I think it gives it helps the kind of like sparse barren land that it actually kind of works better. Now, what's going on here to give that sense of illusion of movement? Both the roads texture scrolls and the ground texture scrolls at 2 different speeds. Let's So the road's texture moves about the same exact speed that it's moving across the what would you call it? The transform. That the transform is moving. And well, this whole chunk, the roads, the car, the player car, they're all being moved forward through space at this speed over here across the z-axis. Actually, whatever it is. And but the what's it called? The ground, the big one, moves faster, so it kind of looks like, you're flying past. You're actually moving at a decent speed, maybe 40, 50 miles per hour or something. I would like to have had a better way to show that stuff's moving at a decent speed. Because, like, for example, the lamppost here is moving at a different speed. It's showing that there's a different speed than the ground is moving. It kind of breaks the disconnect. And adds a disconnect to what is being shown. Really should have probably actually thought that out better. But hey, this was, for Game Jam, it was lasted like, I think it was a week, right? It was really short. Well, I've seen shorter Game Jams, but yeah, well, I guess it was more than a week. It was 2 weeks. But hey, I thought I did pretty good for the time I was given in my work schedule. Another major thing that I did is that this game is timed. There's no, like, numbers or anything showing you the time. Instead, what's going on is a really major timer here. There's a lot going on in it. Not really, but excuse me. So, what's going on here is the sun is being rotated. So the sun here, you kind of can see it when you're in the beginning of the game. It kind of looks like some sort of, it looks like twilight here, and I forget. Does it show the sun? I forget how to get to the sun. This is a while ago when I made this dumb thing. Here it is, the directional light, way back here. So, this rotation over the game's time slowly comes up and moves up, and that's the game's timer. It doesn't go this far, but when the rotation, the X angle, reaches about 190 degrees, all the lights in the game turn off. Like so. And audio starts to play. It plays a song that I made for a Mix-It challenge a while back. I think it was for the July Mix-It. No, June. Yeah, my song I Don't Understand from Mix-It 1706. And it plays out, and once the song ends, the game closes. One build, it closes, another build it actually closes. It's supposed to go to this scene, which is kind of just pseudo-inspirational, like, depressed, ending screen. As my game's tagline is, a short experimental game about a drive that never ends. You know, short, never ends. So, I like that kind of weird stuff. But yeah. But yeah, that was something else I was pretty proud of, was the having a timer based off of a I think it's the slurp dealio here. That slowly rotates it by this minuscule amount over time, which adds up to about what's it called? About 15 minutes of it that it takes for it to completely rotate. Once it gets to yeah. I really like that. It's excuse me. No, I wish I could edit this audio. Not gonna bother. But yeah, this is just kind of a small look at this. I would appreciate if you'd go play it. Let me know what you think. But yeah, have any more questions about like how something works and why I don't comment my code and yeah. Very fun. I need to get back into making more games, so can't wait to show you some more game dev. Maybe I'll actually make a game that's about ponies. Yeah. Peace.